And we're back with segment 2 of the RE/MAX Magnolia Real Estate Show. Now, Michelle has taken off. Actually, she's just off out of the shot. She's still here watching me make sure I don't screw anything up. But Paul is still here. And Paul, of course, you were talking a bit about Create Modular Homes there, about your other business. And I wanted to find out more about that because that must be something that I can only imagine is just going to grow in the coming years.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, so just started the company a year ago. So we have an industrial location out in Hatzick, just outside of Mission. Mm-hmm. And very simply, what we do is we build homes on that site, load them on trucks, and then they get craned onto permanent foundations.
Yeah, and I imagine that that's something that, there was that little boom there with tiny homes, but then that was, how functional are they for more than one or two people? If you got a family or something like that and you're looking to get a chunk of property or something like that and get into the real estate game, modular homes are probably a good way to do it, I guess.
Exactly, yeah.
So that's kind of a good base level entry point, I guess.
Mm-hmm, for sure. The initial design we had is 2 pieces, so it's 2 modules, 14 by 52 feet. Mm-hmm. And so 2 pieces, so 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 1,500 square feet, so a nice size.
That's a good size.
Yeah.
Now, do you have different floor plans as well for people to kind of choose from? Or are
we
they pretty
do,
much standard?
And a lot of concepts. We've have 2 designs we've come up with so far, and I've had a client design a laneway hair salon. We haven't started production on that one yet, but they have a home-based business in Mission, and they designed a small 14 by 28 feet for a couple barber chairs and nice view down to the river. It's a nice project.
Now, that must be kind of a fun part of the job in some of the planning things out and finding new ways to make these things, that much more, better for people, better designed, more efficient, things like that. Is that something you really enjoy doing?
For sure, and more on the higher quality side of things. So floor-to-ceiling windows, and we can make a 9-foot ceiling, so it's a nice, comfortable space.
Absolutely. And I imagine you're probably finding that, from also your real estate background, that more and more people are probably looking to get into the game that way.
Absolutely.
Now, is that something that, obviously, you're biased, but is that something you would often recommend to people coming to go and look, I'm a first-time home buyer, where do I start?
100%, yeah. And, another opportunity, too, is if a house is getting too small, you need to add a little bit of square footage to add a modular addition onto it. So you can just crane it into place and you're done.
And that's an option I never would have thought of. Rather than building an entire new, segment of your house, you could bring in something that's pre-built.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's amazing. I never would have thought of that. So now, what are you finding when it comes to people that are getting into the game, into the modular homes, and they're coming to you? Are they young couples that are just starting out? Are they people that are empty nesters? I mean, who's buying them from you?
Yeah. Within the past year, we've had a ton of inquiries. A lot of people up in the Caribou area. Caribou being a place where it's hard to find skilled labor, and it can be very expensive to build, and it can take a long time also. So it's a good option for somewhere like that.
Yeah, I lived up in Prince George for 7 years, and I know that getting ththings built up there, because it depends on the winter. Sometimes you get a mild winter, you can work. Other times it's 35 below for 3-4 months, and you're not getting much work done.
Exactly.
So I can see how that would be a challenge, and that makes sense too, because people can get a good chunk of land up there, and do they want to go through the whole process of building their own home, or do they want to get something that's already pre-made and just dropped into place?
Exactly. Yeah, I sold a friend of mine 5 acres for $52,000 at Horse Lake.
Yeah, and that'd be a perfect spot to drop a couple a modular home onto, and you're good to go, right? Because it's you've already done all the work at that point. So the person, it's almost like just turnkey, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So that makes it a lot easier, I guess. So you talked a bit in the first segment about you just called up a sign and bought a property in Whistler, and from there it got the bug going. You also said you built a couple homes in Nilsen. Now, what's that like? Because that's a beautiful spot with a lot of older style buildings. So when you build something up there, you have to take that into consideration to try to keep it looking like everything else, or? Exactly.
This was a newer subdivision, so we weren't trying to tie in with a lot of the heritage homes that you'd see in right inside Nelson. It was just slightly outside, but still within the Nelson boundaries. But that was so the second project was a duplex that I built. What was interesting about that is and this is how I got into looking obsessive about modular construction is, so we bought this lot, started building a duplex, and the designer who designed the home for us, after we got the building permit, he saw another little lot off to the side and decided to purchase that. And so we purchased the lot, ordered a modular home from Idaho, had it built, had the foundation built, had it delivered, listed it, and sold it before we even finished the duplex. So seeing that happening, it was the lights kind of turned on. It's that there's something to this.
Yeah, absolutely. I could see how that would be like, well, wait a minute, why are we doing all this work when there's another way to do it? There's always another way of doing things, right? And that's just one way of doing it. And yeah, even the fact that it came up from Idaho, I mean, I guess it's not that far from the Nelson Trail area, but still, yeah, the fact that there was nothing kind of in BC, I guess, is, again, another light bulb, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. So now you're a real estate agent. You've also got your own business going. I mean, when do you have time for those hobbies you talked about?
Yeah. Dirt biking. I have to pick a window, and it's been early mornings. Early mornings during the week is the best time to dirt bike lately. Yeah, it's been great ever since I started with RE/MAX Magnolia. I've been quite busy, so I have to pick my time wisely to go dirt biking.
Now, one thing about the team down there, I've met pretty much the entire team now, and a great bunch of people, but you and James are outnumbered.
We are, aren't we?
You are.
By how many? Is it 5 to 1?
It's a lot, that's for sure. And these are some strong women too.
They are.
They'll keep you guys in place. And let's face it, James needs it.
Yeah, it's good for me too.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you need a little help now and then to keep us in line, right?
Yeah.
So now, Michelle, when she comes in here and does the full show, she has listings and stuff like that. Do you have any listings you want to talk about, or?
Oh, you know what? There's one little pocket listing I have that's kind of interesting. It's
I like the pocket listings. You guys always have a pocket listing.
It's a pocket listing. So this one is in. It's a small lot in Stave Falls. It's a 1/4 acre, and it's $299.
That's it.
Yeah, it's $299. It's there's a little bit of work to get this driveway in, but there's definitely a lot of opportunity. It's nice and private outside of town.
Perfect spot to drop a modular home in.
Yeah, exactly.
I see how this works. It's like, cause and effect. If I get the property sold, then I can send them over here. It's perfect. I love it. So now you've been working now with the new team, and I imagine you guys all bring different strengths to the team. So what do you bring to RE/MAX Magnolia?
I guess my construction background. It's knowing how to build a house from ground up. It's I can be useful in that way to help clients make informed decisions.
It must almost help you too, because you have a good idea of building codes and everything like that. So when you're going to view a house, you can almost do a pre-inspection, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And the big thing too is knowing how much something will cost, so that they can budget that before they even write an offer. Just ballpark knowing how much something will cost.
Yeah. So you get there and the deck's rotting, and you're going, okay, well the deck's going to cost you for that size. With labor, $2,500 kind of thing, right? So that must actually, must be helpful.
It is, yeah.
Very, very cool. Now, did Michelle ask you to get a quote ready and things like that? Because she usually tries to get a quote ready from.
Oh yeah, that's right.
From the folks.
Did have a quote. Well, I had a quote and then I changed it to a different quote.
You changed the quote to a different quote. Well, that makes sense too, because we've done that a few times before.
Should have had that ready.
I mean, I have a couple of quotes that, I just keep around just in case Michelle throws it back at me, which she does sometimes. But I'm sure you have one. So
what is this? Learning to listen is the essence of intelligent living. Learning to listen is the essence of intelligent living.
I like that.
Yeah.
I should probably listen more. There's a lesson.
We all should, shouldn't we?
Yeah, there's a lesson to be learned there for sure. Well, now you probably have a couple websites we should promote, because we're talking about both the gigs you have going. So people want to know more about the modular home aspect. Where can they go?
CreateModular.com.
Okay, that's nice and easy.
Yeah.
And what about your real estate website? You must have one of those.
That would be, we'll go with the brokerage real estate website. So that's RE/MAXMagnoliaRealty.com. Is that right?
Look at that. Michelle's nodding in the corner, pretending she's not here again. But we got it right. We've struggled with that a bit with the new change, but we're getting there. Even I've got it memorized now, so it's all good. Well, Paul, appreciate you coming in today and chatting a bit about what you do and how you do it.
Cool. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
And join us again next week when we will talk real estate in order to unlock your real estate potential on a show where real estate is maximized. Thanks for listening.